Get my gun.
Thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the ones that have never been here before that we have some new ones this year. And it's just been, so far, it's been a wonderful reunion. We're finished. But I just want to tell you that Brenda has worked hard on this. Several months getting everything ready and what she wanted to do. And I think she did a beautiful job. You did that. The children, the grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren could hear about their great-grandparents. And so, in the meantime, I have written a little thing here that what I thought about, and I want you to know about our family.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Who's baby is that? What did you do, Allie? What did you do? Look at her. Okay. Not everyone's a fan. I got a submarine we can borrow.
Okay, this is my mom and dad, and they were great people. And I want all the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren to know what good people they were. So I want to just give you a little history of your ancestors. And the ones that started this family were Fred Walton and Skeet Erie. Fell in love in Electra, Texas when he was 18 and she was 16. They dated for just a few months. And then they ran off to Frederick, Oklahoma, and got married. And
Was she pregnant?
and they came back and to Electra and called Granny, my grandma or their grandmother, Sally Erie, and told her the news. She may have been proud because that was her last child, and she had 7. So to get married, and so and Daddy went to work for Rio Bravo Oil Company. And he stayed there for years, and it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week he was on call, and he worked hard and pulling wells, and we were right in the middle of oil wells and oil fields, and out on lease 2.5 miles from Electra. And he went to work for the Rio Bravo Oil Company in Electra. 2 years later, they had a baby boy named Dwayne. And 2.5 years later, they had Weldon. And 2.5 years later, they had Dina Joy. And then 2.5 years later, they had the best.
Until.
Thinking they had their family made. 9 years later came Paulette. And she was the apple of our eye. We adored her. She was our pride and joy. We fought over who was going to get to carry her around the block on Saturday night to show her off. We really did. She was just wonderful to our family. And then I want to tell you that when Mother was pregnant with Weldon, Daddy found, walking out to the power had gone down. There was about 3/4 of a block from our house, and when it went down, he shut out the house because they had to get it going so we had electricity and things. And when he made this little trip, he saw a little piece of paper on the ground, and it was this piece of paper read, "Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all the things that shall come to pass, and stand before the Son of Man." That's Luke 21:36. And this started him thinking about Christianity. He was not a Christian. He gave his heart to Jesus when he was 22 years old. Mother had done that when she was 12 in a Methodist church, and they were both baptized into the Baptist church in 1928. And they lived a wonderful Christian life for the rest of their life. Mother was a prayer warrior, and Daddy was too. She prayed for all of us all the time, and Daddy was a praying man. and he lived his faith. One of my favorite memories of my dad is I was visiting them one summer in Electra, and their bedroom was right across from where I was going to be staying. So I went to where I was going to go put my pajamas on, and I looked in Daddy and Mother's room. My dad was 85 years old, on his knees, praying to God at his bed. And that was a memory that I love, I cherish. And he was there in his boxer shorts, you know, his old dingy t-shirt, and praying. I thought, wonderful. And he witnessed to people, even to his last day, when he was in the hospital for a month before he died. He witnessed to the nurses and quoted scripture to them, and Mother witnessed to everyone. You know, and the checkout people at the grocery store, or anybody she met on the street, you know, asking them where they went to church and all this. They were wonderful Christian people. And she witnessed even to family and acquaintances. She was very generous to God. She tithed on every penny that came into that house from his salary. If he made $10, $1 of it went to the tithe. And she tithed on that, and they didn't buy anything they couldn't pay for. They didn't go in debt. They, in fact, we never thought that. Daddy always thought we were poor, and we were raised poor out on that lease. They had a house that wasn't any bigger than this thing, and it was one bedroom and a shotgun kitchen and a little dining area and a living area. And then on the front of it was a screened-in porch that's about 8 feet wide or so. Had an iron bedstead at one end where Dwayne and Weldon slept year-round, and Dina Joyce and I slept in the other end in a rollaway bed for years. Snow, sleet, shine, whatever. In the summer, they'd roll the ducking up and so it'd be cooler. And in the winter, they'd put it down so we wouldn't freeze to death. But there were times we had quilts on us that were this thick because we were so cold out there on that porch. And so Daddy, we got all the 5 children, got a letter one summer. I think it was in 1986. And they sent it to us that they were having a dinner, and they wanted us, no children, just the spouses and the children, to come to this hotel in Wichita Falls for dinner. So we all went wondering what was going on. It was in May of some time. And so we had a beautiful dinner, and then in a private room. And then Daddy gets up to talk. And as he was talking, he talked about how sorry he was that we were raised poor. Well, I never thought I was poor. We had food on the table, we had clothes to wear, and I wouldn't take from my childhood being raised out on that lease. But we were poor. My granny made my clothes, or all of us clothes, and she made the girls' dresses out of feed sacks all the time, because it was easy. You could get printed feed sacks, and that's what she made our clothes out of. So he gets up and tells us about how sorry he was that we were so poor and lived out on that lease. And then he actually shed a few tears. And then he gave us each one an envelope, each of the children, an envelope. And in it was a $10,000 certified check for each child. So they gave away $50,000 that night. And it kind of made Dwayne mad because he was afraid they'd need it, but you know what, they didn't. They were so loyal to God that God would not let them see a poor day. And so they were very generous, but they were good stewards. And that's just a few of the highlights of this family. And Dwayne even gave Mother and Daddy 2 brand new cars. One was on Daddy's 80th birthday. And I just thought, how wonderful, you know, for somebody to be that generous. And they were married 68 and a half years before Daddy died. And just think, 68 years of those 2 people praying for this family. It's just a blessing that can't be measured. All those prayers went together for just us. And so now I'm old. And I love all of you. And I'm very thankful that you're here. And I hope we will all love each other from now on. You know, it's just been great to see you. And I just wanted you to know a little bit about your forefathers and and how you all came from good stock. And, yeah. And so I'm gonna end this with my mother's favorite joke. She says, she would laugh out just till she cried when she'd tell this joke. There was a man walking down the street and he was drunk. And he had one foot on the street, the other up on the curb, walking in the gutter. And another guy came by and said, "Man, you're drunk." He said, "Oh, thank God, I thought I was crippled."
I've been there.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you so you would know who the parents of all these kids are. And the grandparents, they would be your great-great, and then great-great-great for some of these little ones. But they were wonderful people. I am so thankful that I was raised in that home. You know, I don't care if we didn't have anything to eat, it was still a loving home. Mother and Daddy loved us and took care of us, and we loved them back. Anyway, thank you for coming.